Welcome, comrades, back to my Minecraft survival series. This is episode 5. Thank you for joining me today. If you're returning to the channel, then thank you for coming back, and if you're new here, then welcome. A very kind and heartfelt and warm welcome. I have a visitor today. A wandering trader has just arrived. I didn't see this person moments ago, so they really are fresh to my little base here, and the trades are interesting actually. I don't know if anything like really jumps out at me, and I'm not sure that these types of trading villages, I suppose these traders, are able to be like developed so you can unlock new trades. That kind of piques my interest, but I'm not overly interested in growing the number of water bottles that I have, so I'm just kind of like leave off on it for the moment. You may notice in my inventory and kind of my surrounding as well that I've made more progress on everything the world writ large. I really did commence building my house here, and I got quite a ways along. Unfortunately, because the newest Minecraft update has only just arrived, the replay mod that I usually use to kind of like track my progress. Not that I've ever done a series like this before, but I have experimented with the replay mod, and I think it's really useful for building, but I haven't been able to use it, of course, because it hasn't updated to the latest version. So I thought maybe I'll do most of the building of the roof off camera and then like join up later, but I kind of come to the conclusion, but if I'm really going to adhere to this principle of doing much of the game on camera, then I'm going to be as invested as I can. And doing this, much of the roofing of which is the task for the day, I'll do that on camera, I have determined. I must confess as well, there was a little incident off camera as I previously, and there's a phantom ahead, as I was previously using my chests that I had just there outside, a creeper came up behind me, and funnily enough, and he just interrupted my sleep. You should be ashamed of yourself. And you did it as well. You leave me alone. I've also got more enchanted items, so including a sharpened sword, which has already proved to be very useful. Yeah, and the creeper destroyed me, destroyed the chest, destroyed a hole in the fence, so I lost like the majority of my chicken stock that I had carefully cultivated over a period of multiple days, including breeding and eggs. It was pandemonium. I died in the process, unfortunately, so that's my first death in this world, and it was off camera, but I wanted to be completely transparent with you and let you know that that happened, and I'll put some screenshots up of the damage now. Most of it's been rectified. My chicken population, its numbers are incrementally increasing, so not all is lost, and there is enough here for me to work with, but it wouldn't take wandering very far to find like dozens of chickens everywhere around here, which is hilarious. But yeah, see, they're just chickens absolutely everywhere, and they smelt the freedom and they just took off. There's like a cat when you leave the front door open, they just disappear on you. So yeah, there was a kind of a chicken breakout off camera, and I died, which I was pretty upset about. Lost all of my levels. I don't think I lost any items, like it blew up the chests, which really was like the worst outcome, but I'm not like too deprived or deficient as a result of it. Anyway, let us recommence with this roof here. As you can see, I got plenty of resources in my inventory. This is going to be quite a difficult one to tackle, as I feel like this is nice, but I have this is the largest area. You don't want your builds to be too roof heavy, which I think is something that can quite easily be done if you're not careful. You can kind of make something that has too large of a roof, and it looks a bit asymmetrical, and it doesn't look as nice. So I'm going to do what I can to avoid that dynamic. I'm also going to deploy my scaffolding, and as you can see, I've also built out like an interior. I had to move everything outside inside, because as I said, that really was the worst possible outcome. How do I do this? This is how I do it. You have to shift. I've been learning the mechanics of scaffolding. It's like kind of frustrating because you can't shift near the edge without, doing that. which is just ridiculous, but whatever. I'm gonna do my best here. Like, it would just be easier if I could get to the edge of the scaffolding itself without just falling to the ground, plummeting to my death. But I'm not going to be the one to complain about everything. Now, doing my best here to try and marry this up to the other side. I suppose I could just use the leaves. The trees are there for a reason. I could use them to get a better sense of what is happening. Okay. That makes sense. That makes enough sense. Actually, does it? I feel like this is, yeah, that's alright. That's alright. I know what to do. Okay. Yep. And then I'm going to do something like this. Yeah, so, like, with the replay mod, I think it just makes building a smoother experience on camera, because you're not kind of having to watch this iterative process, and that's kind of how I build typically, is that it is quite iterative. I'm like destroying things, looking at things from different angles, thinking about whether that meets my interests, and it's like I probably take things a bit slower than other builders do, which might be to my detriment as trying to create engaging content, but it is what it is. I'm dealing with the hand that I was dealt, but the replay mod kind of saves that, as you're able to explore different angles and you can then speed it up as well. I suppose I could speed up this building process, but it wouldn't be nearly as aesthetic, as you're kind of getting one perspective. Because if you've got the building mod, you can see it all. I mean, so the replay mod, you can see it all. You can see it all, and it looks lovely. So here we go here, attempting to... doing my darndest, I suppose, to kind of make this roof. I hope it's symmetrical, otherwise we will likely have some more issues. It looks something like this. This is my attempt. I think I might struggle off this side because I've made this higher. But that is that's something I'll deal with in a moment, and I just flooded my interior, which is fantastic. I don't even have a floor either. See, it's just grass. See, I didn't want to do too much off camera. I wanted to do like some of the boring things, but I think laying down the floorboards, that has got to count for one of the more exciting aspects of the game. And I also wanted to take the time in this video to thank a few people who commented over the past few days and I suppose found my channel and left some really lovely and heartfelt comments that I'm incredibly grateful for. And I'm going to go through their names in a moment, those people who left the comments, and give them a shout out for whatever it's worth. Probably not worth anything, but at least an expression of my gratitude, because as someone who has frequented YouTube and kind of understands it, I suppose, or as best I can, I know that no one's obligated to make comments. Comments are such an afterthought for so many people, but for like multiple people, not just one person, multiple people to take the time to leave a comment. Very, very grateful. Very pleased with that. It made me feel good, and that this, not to say that I'm like doing this in order to gather people's attention, and it's all about me and what I get out of it, but it did make me feel good knowing that some people, however few people there is, I don't do it for the numbers, are watching this, and it's not just old men shouting at trees. Because, not that I'm old, but you get the analogy. And we are making progress here. This like area, I was happy with the roof up until this point. And then this is kind of looking a bit lame. It's just a bit lame. But I'll do what I can to try and remember how it looked like on the other side. I think it was something like this. And then I can come across here. So it was, yeah. As you can see, this is very well formulated. I am truly doing wonders with this build here. Coming up. Whoops. Let's have a look. I'm going to try and like harmonize that so it gives it a bit more of a gradient there. Yeah, that looks better. On the other side, I kind of didn't build out the corner entirely. I left it like that, pretty sure. And actually, it's a stair above, is it? Is it a stair? It's not like imperative that I get it absolutely correct. That it doesn't have to be the case, but I want to get it as correct as I can. Actually, it's not a stair, it's just a stair on the end. Yeah, and then it's the block, and then it's the stair, and then it's another block. So block, stair, and then it should be another block after this. And then I don't think I've quite done the top block in the center. But this is not to worry because I have other plans for this roof in order to kind of like give it a bit more life and make it a bit more interesting rather than being like quite a soft gradient. And it's kind of a 45-degree diagonal roof, which you kind of I tend to avoid in my builds, just again because it's just not that exciting. I prefer something that is like quite steep or quite flat. And if you're going to split the difference between the two, then probably like not going to capture people's attentions as other styles of roofs do. Roofs are really, really important, crucially important to the overall build. Let's have a look. This looks better. Trying to do something, trying to find details some way. And this is one way you can do it. I'm going to have a chimney. I will intend to at least have like some windows created to look out across the river. I don't think I'm going to have a balcony. I'm not going to go that far. That's a bit extreme. But let's see how that looks. It may create like a sort of lopsided look. Might actually destroy this because it's kind of awkwardly in the way. Those are my parrots. I still don't have names for the parrots. If anyone has a suggestion, please leave it in the comments below. Or if anyone even comments, I might have just completely like jinxed myself. You know, it's not terrible. I think if I have... yeah, there's no details. It's kind of difficult to like gauge to what extent it looks good. Sorry, I'm kind of crashing out here trying to see where I went wrong because it obviously isn't symmetrical. I think it's the roof itself. Whoops. See, that's the mechanic that I'm missing. I always do that. Have to like relearn how to place blocks. Yeah, I think it's this. And then if I do that, then it looks better. That looks better. I'm going to... let's have a look. And yeah, that looks... we're getting there. We're getting there. That's fine for the moment. I don't have any oak wood in my inventory, which is a nuisance because I'm going to have to go back inside. The chickens are looking fantastic, might I say. Very glad. It's painfully dark in here. I wouldn't want a creeper spawning again. I have trauma from the last time that I left myself unguarded. I didn't cover all of my bases. And you know, I think I'd even talked about it, how I was playing a dangerous game by just leaving like all my personal and important items out in the middle of the open. And at any point a creeper was going to come up, and lo and behold a creeper did come up, and what did it do? It blew everything up to smithereens and left a big crater in the surface of the earth. But I plugged it up and we've moved on. Where is... what was I looking for? This. Yeah. I'm also quite low on oak. I just used up all of my planks. Sorry, my dog is trying to break into the room right now. And, I'm actually thinking I might sleep. See, more chickens are escaping. Damn. He's relentless. I don't have a shield anymore. Shall I invite him in for tea? Tea being my sword. Where are you, sir? Where's he gone? Oh, there he is. Oh. Oh, damn. Do a lot of damage. I don't know if you can hear that, but there is the sound of a dog trying to scratch the door down. He can wait. He can wait, that's for sure. And oop, that was almost embarrassing. Here we go. Here we go. Plug that up. Yeah. Yeah. At least for now. At least for now. It is symmetrical, that's the main thing. Yeah, I think I'm seriously going to do something about that, because I don't think it looks the best that it possibly can. That looks better. Where is the scaffolding? Did my best. Fine, good enough. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna just have one of them so I can get to the roof. I don't think I need that many. Chickens are multiplying. They lay a lot of eggs. I really wish... I actually do, and I've always thought this, there are more functionalities for the use of eggs. I don't mean that we could have like stoves and make fried eggs or scrambled eggs or something, but it's just, all you can do is throw the egg and like there's a fraction of a chance that a chicken will spawn. But other than that, it's pretty useless as a feature. Okay, now this is kind of the more difficult part. Now that I have the layout, I have to think about all the like various ways that I'm going to be decorating it. I'm going to start by establishing... Well, I'm going to refer to some inspiration that I have online and from previous builds that I've done. This, for the most part, is an original build. At least I can't think of where I got the inspiration to build in this style. I actually don't remember, which leads me to think that it was something that I had divined. I'd pulled from some mysterious source at some point. But yeah, I'm gonna do my best. I've kind of come full circle on symmetry as far as builds go. I used to be someone who really emphasized the symmetry of everything and making sure that like everything is aligned perfectly. The skeletons again are just ruining my life, ruining this series. Sharpness sword definitely helps. Yeah, I would like probably freak out with the fact that there are 2 blocks there and there's one there. But maybe I am freaking out about it now that I speak about it. But yeah, I'm kind of more inclined to like leave little quirks like that, as I think they are quirks more than anything. And they're not necessarily determining factors in what is a good build and what isn't. And yeah, I think I'm going to, at least for the moment, I have glass somewhere. I'm going to be just clear glass panes. I haven't really fallen in love with any stained glass panes, at least not yet. Though I'm more inclined to use like a grey when I'm using stone than with other forms of wood. I just use the clear. But again, I think it's more important that I ensure my base is adequately protected and these are plugged up before anything happens. This is, of course, going to be 2 levels. I could think perhaps having like a very exposed interior, which would give it a sort of like cathedral-like atmosphere. And with exposed beams, perhaps across the top of the house. Though I think I would like a staircase, and at least in some small way, I'm going to find an area that would be suitable for a second floor, and then perhaps like I could have exposed beams across here, or I could put them across here. That is something for me to consider, or if anyone has any recommendations, even that'd be better. But as I work towards the interior, kind of do the exterior first and then think about the interior. And also going to get rid of this so I can start cleaning this place up. these leaves. I love the leaves. I think they're a great addition. Just adds another layer of detail and intrigue to forests and the biomes more broadly. Okay, so the juices have begun to flow as to what I want to do. I'm kind of seeing it as important as to whether I'll have 2 floors or not, because that'll determine how I do this. But I'm just going to get started with my decoration pieces. This might be frustrating to walk under, but I can walk under that. And I need rose bushes, which I don't have actually. Sweet berries will have to do it in the interim. Can I do it like that? Yeah, something like that. And then I'm going to put like that across. I'm just going to kind of do that more broadly around here. Kind of referring to my sources being previous worlds that I built for the inspiration for this design. Also have the intention to create a tower, which I think, I mean, I could do it here at the back. I think it'd look better at the back than at the front. But it's sort of like stone, like watchtower in a way, and it's going to come up, protruding through one of the parts of this house. But yeah, that's something I can think about, not necessarily right now. And we are getting started. I'm going to need the large rose bush, so I might do a little exploration now to go and find something like that. And while I'm here, I'm also going to... There is a certain importance to having greenery and shrubbery around your home. And I also love the presence of trees, which is why I have a habit of building in forest biomes as opposed to other biomes, which don't quite capture my attention. So this is going to be thorny. I know the rose bushes are thorny. That's all right. Then I'm going to put this here. When in doubt, just rely upon using too many flowers and little bushes and bursts of color, which you can pepper around your builds and give it that like extra layer of depth and color, and it like adds a sort of beauty to things. Nature is beautiful by its existence, and I think it can really uplift where things are lacking. Now, I'm also struggling to really think about how I'm going to organize everything. I'm going to put this away. I want to keep most of these like materials in my inventory, because if I go somewhere or I start building again, then I want to keep them. But time for an impromptu exploration of this area to see if I can find some rose bushes, which shouldn't be too difficult. I've seen them before, I just haven't curated them. And I haven't like thought too deeply about curating my inventory or repository of flowers, I suppose. Building a little like greenhouse, or pretending I'm a botanist who's discovering all sorts of new wonderful species of flower and herb and everything in between. Okay, so there's a plains biome over here, and there is a wolf. Those who will remember, I had an encounter with wolves in the first episode, which involved one running off of me, and I never saw it again. So maybe it's one of those. Might just be. Which I'm actually quite glad to see a wolf finally after all this time. And there is more nature, including bees, that should prove pretty useful. Again, I'm trying to build not just a standalone house, but a community that provides a habitat for much nature and natural things to flourish and breathe life into the game. I think that is what the creators of Minecraft and the people who are working on it with the new additions have been trying to do. It's one of their objectives, is to find ways to animate what is ordinarily like, I don't want to say it's like dead, but Minecraft is quite quiet, especially the earlier versions of the game. It's bare, and it really does lack for detail. Maybe this is where all the chickens got to from my home. They've gotten quite far. And do I see a rose bush? I think it's a pumpkin, so I'm not going to run all the way over there. I'm going to try and get lucky here. Surprised that I haven't seen a rose bush already. Those chickens, man, I tell you, they really know how to take their opportunity and get away. I actually haven't killed any of them yet. Well, at least not intentionally killed any of them. Probably a few died in the creeper catastrophe. But I haven't gotten to like having to need them, I suppose. If I need arrows, then I'll know where to turn to. But I've also found that the whatever small potato crop that I've grown already has provided a bountiful source of food. Seriously, potatoes, since they were added to the game, I don't think I've ever had to use any other crop or like source of food. It's really something that you can live off. No wonder that the Irish in the early 19th century were able to sustain themselves on potatoes alone in, what was it, a famine, not just economically, but there's a few disastrous harvests successively, and led to some very difficult times. But they saw through it because of the strength and the authority of the potato, which, if you've ever heard of the potato famine or the Irish famine, that's broadly what it's referring to. And I think, oh, okay, no, there we go. We have found what we were looking for. We have come, we have seen, and we have conquered. This actually, I think in itself is a full biome of flowers. I forgot what they're called. It's like a floral biome. I feel, yeah, I feel bad just like plundering nature and pulling out flowers from their roots to take them back, because next time I come into this area, I'm going to be looking around and realizing that things are worse off because of me. I am the one who is responsible for that. But then at the same time, I shouldn't feel too guilty. And there's nothing here that I want to throw out. These cows are kind of annoying. I'm going to do this. It's weird, I know. Maybe I'm a hoarder. Maybe it's the scarcity principle, the scarcity mindset that I have inside of me, that I just can't throw things out for fear that I'm going to need it in the future. I can't really see anything here that I so readily want to leave behind. Perhaps there are some bits of wood, but I just wouldn't feel comfortable, because that means that that's good wood that I could put to use. Instead, I'm losing it. And I'm also kind of reconnecting with the area in understanding what is going on. If I'm ever in dire need of flowers, I know where to come to. Boy, no shortage of flowers. Probably going to try and get a stack, just to be sure. And I'm just trying other flowers in the process, including this lovely thing, the lilac. Yeah, I'm going to get some lilac. Just going to get a bunch of stuff, and then if I don't use it, it'll sit in a chest until I do use it, and I have every intention of using every ounce of these flowers. I'd say I'm doing it. I'm going overkill. I'm going well beyond the brief, but I shall prove to you, dear viewer, that you are sorely mistaken, and everything here has been carefully, meticulously planned out from the very beginning. There is not just madness alone, but deep and enduring method of which has been applied. And I'm going to leave it there. You have been spared. Or perhaps these flowers wanted to be found. Perhaps that was their intention, that one day someone like me would come along and relocate them to a new place. And I think this is the right direction, though kind of relying upon my own internal navigation system and my memory. Now, while we run, I wanted to take the opportunity to thank those people who commented in no particular order. Whoop, I'm gonna eat first. Oops, I was mistaken. I'm going to eat and hopefully find my home. So, thank you to Lord2 Gaming for your comments. You're very kind, sir. Satya, apologies if I've butchered the pronunciation of your name. There may be a couple of you who I don't quite get it absolutely precise, but I'll do my best. That one guy, thank you, sir. 40th subscriber. I recognize you. Shout out to you. Where are we? Kukis. I can't actually tell if Kukis was making a like positive comment or just a general observation. They said poopaloop and thank. So I don't know what to make of that, but I'm gonna give you a doggedly charitable view and say that you were trying to be nice to me. Next is TXLPGNN1ZZ. Oh, okay. Maybe I have run in the wrong direction. I don't have a compass either. I might have to use my coordinates to try and find 00 so I can locate my home. Yeah, as I said, I'm quite terrible at remembering where I came from, and to my benefit or detriment, I've found a village. I think this is the village that I had already found earlier. I'm going to keep running this way and hope for the best. Yep, thank you to you, Penetrist, thank you very much. Silly's Shoes, you're too kind. Ghost GT, Sofs Gaming, and Massimune. Last but not least, Kirby Chew. Thank you to all of you for the really kind comments. It means a lot. It does. Kirby Chew said awesome sauce. It's unironically something I say all the time. I always say awesome sauce. So, nice. You've found a very apt way to comment on my video without even knowing it. Unless I did say awesome sauce at some point, but I don't recall. Maybe I'll start saying it from now on. I actually don't think that in the distance is my home. Maybe there are some of you who are absolutely screaming at me right now because I've gotten this so tragically wrong with remembering where I meant to be, but I was blinded by the flowers. The beauty of the flowers. It was too alluring, and it messed with my mind. It confounded my ability to think clearly. And I've also held on to these eggs. Wow, okay. This is like arguably a more naturally nice place than whatever I found before. This is lava. Okay. So the difference between those two. Maybe I will take a boat trip. Wolves up there. Actually, I have a feeling it's this way. Yeah, get him. Time. The creatures of the world fought back against the skeletons. Oh, they just demolished another skeleton over there. You absolutely love to see it. And, oh boy. Running for my life. Running life and limb. Risking it all in search of my home. That is not particularly a cave or a crevice in the earth that I'd like to fall down. You know, maybe this was a happy accident. Maybe it was destined that I would lose my way and be able to rediscover the beautiful terrain around my home and find a new appreciation for where I live. Because I'm somewhat found like a really cool neighborhood. Or maybe it's the case that I'm just so far away. I think I can do this. Yeah, see, it doesn't seem as though I'm that far. I think I've just like frustratingly hung around 00 and like peppered the periphery of 00, but I haven't like found exactly where I am. And I don't precisely remember the coordinates. I just know it's near spawn. I've done like a big loop. Oh boy. Things aren't working out. But I'm persevering. I've almost died multiple times just running through this dense thicket alone. And I don't even think I'm going in the right direction either. Just finding endless skeleton and spider and zombie and then having to eat and replenish my hunger and did dangerously low levels. But that's okay because I have found that making my way through these trees so swiftly has been my edge. And there are 3 skeletons. There are 3 of them. And one of them seems to have like a really strong bow or something. Oh boy. That bow did like 4 hearts of damage. Can we get a replay on that?
3 hours later.
Okay, well I am back after running around for the better part of half an hour. Or probably not that long, but long enough to get quite frustrating. And I've kind of gotten started on some other stuff in the meantime. But this has been quite a lengthy episode already, and I suppose the majority of it was spent doing a menial runaround like a headless chicken of the surrounds of my property. Where did I put those flowers? Now, I actually misplaced them. I put them down in the chest. Yeah, they were there. Okay. Yeah, and I guess I now have what I was hoping I would have. The goods have been attained, secured the package. I've already like run into these berry bushes multiple times. They've inflicted damage, so I do think I'll be replacing those soon. At least these, because they're in the way. Those, I don't know if I'll use it very often. I think the plan for next episode is going to be starting to lay the path around, finish the detail on the house, and then get started on the interior as adjacent to finishing the detail, including building out the upper floors. And hopefully soon I'll also have access to the replay mod, because I think that's really going to uplift the quality of these episodes and make it a lot more immersive from a viewer perspective. Give you guys something a little bit more substantive. And I also have to try and... Wow, I just fell into a hole. This is the first time I've fallen into this hole. And I think I realized it links back up. Okay, wait, it just links back up to another hole. I swear... Okay, no, perhaps I've gotten it wrong. I'm just going to finish the episode out down here, I suppose, in this little well that was made naturally. Yeah, I'm going to have to retrain myself on the replay mode. It's been a while since I used it, but, you know, it's not so difficult. I hope a creeper doesn't follow me down here. I'm going to get back up before that happens. Thank you for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. My name is Sam Cobblestone. Have a good evening, morning, afternoon, whatever time it is in your region. Goodbye.